Hey, do you want to avoid all rug pulls? Would you like to be able to find the best early stage projects and invest on them since the beginning, be a part of the community, be a part of what they're building, and of course, very importantly, benefit from that early stage positioning? If you do, this video is for you. Welcome to Decentralized Nation, the channel where crypto is made simpler. And today we have what I think is a very useful video for everyone looking to invest in early stage projects. We have 9 red flags for cryptocurrency projects, and basically if you go through this, if you analyze and research the project, if you go through the red flags and you see that there are barely any red flags or just a few, and the project is very solid, then you have a good investment. You know that you have an investment with a chance of succeeding. But the truth is, early stage projects is a very risky thing to invest in. Even if the team is really good, even if they are really working hard and it's not a scam and a great project, things can still go wrong. Okay, things can still go wrong. But this video will help you, first of all, identify scams, and second of all, it will help you also identify projects that don't have a very low chance of succeeding because they don't have, in theory, what it takes. But if they do have and they pass all these criteria, I think they are certainly a project that is very interesting and has great potential for the future. But at the end of the day, it's very risky to invest in these kind of projects. So you should think very well if you want to do it, because I'm not a financial advisor. This video is not financial advice, just educational content. And you're the one that has to make a decision. But yeah, one very important thing before going through with the video. This content was inspired by a post of the Cardano Foundation, the community digest. So you guys go check it out. I made some changes to their red flags, but some of them, of course, I got it from that resource. So I think it's important to mention and give credit where it's due. But let's go to the red flags, guys. First of all, it's the team. Okay, guys, we need to check the team, analyze the team in a project is super important. The team are basically the ones that are going to make it all happen. They are the wild card. They are one of the most important things in your project. If you have a good, capable team with a vision and good intentions, and they are really willing to work hard and put everything there, it's very likely you'll succeed. Because a project only dies when the team fails, when the team gives up. Besides that, the project always has a chance to rebound, to do something if people are really working hard towards it and they haven't given up. Okay, guys, so whenever you're checking the team, it's a bad sign when a team is anonymous, of course. We don't know who's doing the project. Why should you invest in it, It's really, the team is everything. So if we don't know who they are, it's a great failure of the project. And in one sense, it's also bad because they're not putting themselves out there. Okay, so even if they are pseudo-anonymous, as you can see here, and they have social media, but they are not doxed, like fully doxed in terms of having a name of the person, the identity, the face, and everything. Those are all red flags, because we don't know everything about the team. We don't know their skills, what they've done before. Most of the times, it's just what they see, and we don't know. Also, and they are not also willing to put their own image, their own reputation, their own life at risk. And in one sense, for me, they are not giving everything for the project. Okay, guys. So very, very careful with that, especially also when the team was trying to just hype up the statistics of their social media before starting a project. That's also very suspicious and very kind of scammy. If they are real, they'll be who they are, they'll show work, and they'll eventually convince people with their work, and that's the most important thing. So don't forget about that. It's also very important, of course, that teams shows themselves in the communication of the company, even in video if necessary, but in other kind of environments, like just photos and all of that. It's important that they show themselves. I know that a lot of projects in crypto are against this, and that doesn't really happen. But at the end of the day, you have some that are that do really show themselves and put themselves out there. They do video interviews, they do everything. So those are the ones we want. We want projects with real people that are not afraid to back up what they are doing, and that really believe in what they are doing and are giving them everything, even their own image to the project. And of course, in terms of team, it's very important to check the background, especially of the founders. But if you can get the rest of the team, of course, the best. But I know that the time is limited, so check the background of the founders, check what they've done and accomplished, check if they have the necessary skills to work in the space. Not every founder needs to be technical or a developer, but it's good that they have something to add, either in terms of legal issues, or in terms of business development or marketing. It's good that they have something to add to the team, and they have some skills, some past that really shows they can do things. That's, I think, very important in my opinion. Another thing, of course, we need to check in the project is the roadmap. Okay, if there's no roadmap, then it's really bad. What are they trying to accomplish? Why are you going to invest in them? You don't know. Just price speculation. You're just gambling because you don't even know what they are really trying to accomplish, and you don't have any kind of like metrics to judge them by. The roadmaps are also very good because they are metrics to judge the team's performance across time, and if they are consistently hitting the roadmap, consistently getting things done, and I don't have to keep on changing it to have a good result, or to be able to achieve what they intend. It's good. The roadmap is a really good way to see how the teams are really doing and see if it makes sense, and if they are showing they have capability to do what their plan, and if their plan makes sense. All right. So a too promising roadmap is also bad. If you have a certain team with a limited skill set and they are promising you the world, well, that's very likely they won't make it. Either it is a scam to entice people and to make them feel, whoa, this is going to be the big next thing, or they are either like too ambitious and it's very unlikely they'll succeed because they still don't have what it takes. Okay, but of course there is a low chance they can succeed, but hey, we shouldn't count on those chances. We should try to maximize our chances of getting into the best projects, because there are right now so many projects in so many blockchains. You have layer ones with so many projects coming, so like Cardano, for example, or Polkadot and everything. So yeah, we really need to be picky, and it's good to be picky, I think, because after at the end of the day, it's your earn money, and you should also, yeah, I think it's good to invest in projects that are really trying to accomplish things and that trying to make a difference, and not projects that won't do anything, at the end of the day. And yeah, go through the roadmap, see also if there are details, if there are timelines for the things they want to achieve. That's really important. And keep tracking also their progress. If they're progressing, doing things right, then it's a bet to continue or even double down. I would say at least that's what I would do. But again, not financial advice. And also check if they're updating the roadmap. Sometimes teams will fail deadlines. It's okay. Or sometimes they'll have to change the roadmap because something happened and they needed to add something else. That's okay. That's normal. That's part of having a business. Not everything will go according to plan, but it's important they are really updating the roadmap, keeping people informed, but also updating the roadmap from themselves, I think. And then you have also content and documentation and red flags. Okay, of course, if you have a project, it's important to go through the white paper, through any kind of document they have explaining what they're trying to do and how. That really gives us a notion if they're the real deal or not. Okay, so it's important that while you're reading this roadmap, it's clear to see that they have the knowledge needed to create a solution for the problem they are trying to solve. That they have identified a clear problem, they are trying to create a solution, and that they show to have the knowledge, show to have a capable solution of solving this problem. Okay, guys, this is very important. You should also be, attentive to like grammatical errors, spelling, punctuation, because it's not that important, but sometimes shows lack of care, perfectionism. It's a very formal a very formal document. So a good team will try to make the best out of it. So careful with that, because if there are a lot of errors, it means they didn't spend much time with it, working on it. And if they didn't spend much time working on it, they're probably just creating something to show people and not something they really intend to follow through. And also, like, careful with the buzzwords, okay, guys? If there are too many buzzwords, if the roadmap doesn't focus that much on the problem, but more on, just crypto in general and talking about the things that are hype right now, it's not really good, It might mean, and even the Moonboy talk, if they have a Moonboy talk in their project, it might really mean that they, are just trying to get people attention, get people excited, and not worried about the underlying problem. Okay, guys. Then again, you need to see what they are claiming. If what they're claiming is really unique, if you can take some time to look at competitors, that's great, because it will only make your analysis more complete and will make you more of an expert in the space. So your investment will be, if you do eventually decide to invest, will be more, guaranteed, I would say, or will be more justified because you really know what you're talking about. Um, yeah, and if they focus too much on the success and also the solution, or on how the project will be great instead of how they'll actually find a solution for the problem, that's also really a red flag. In terms of, just check if they have plagiarized content. It's really simple. Just go to Google and you can just research some of their stuff. There are also like a lot of free websites for plagiarism, so you can just use one of those. I can leave one in the description maybe, and you can check if it's really their roadmap and their documentation, or if it's something that came from another project. And yeah, also like make sure that this documentation is simple. At the end of the day, you can have complex math, you can have all those things, but it should have like a simple conclusion. You should understand what is the problem, what they're trying to solve, how they are going to solve it in a general term, and how will the things look like in the end. So yeah, it needs to be something at the end of the day that simplifies things for the people. And when they try to make it overly confusing, mathematical, or whatever, it can also be a way to just make people think, oh, this is so good, this is so complex, I cannot even understand, when in fact it's just made to look complex, so that people really think they are something out of this world. So be careful with that, guys. Be careful with that, because that's a easy trick some projects have. Also, in terms of social media, it's very important to social media can also give us some great insights about the project, about the community, about the people that are following them. Be careful if they have too much followers compared to the level of interactions, because that usually means that they're paid followers. Check if they have a lot of bot interactions also in their social media accounts like Telegram, Twitter, or Discord. This is just to show that there's life in the community, even if there's not real life, it's just a bot. So yeah, be careful with that. But it's of course very important to also check the community. Is the community helpful? Do you have people in the community that seem to know what they're talking about and understand the project? Do you have even like developers and other stuff that could help the project, or give them some kind of support eventually if needed? That's also a very valuable thing to have in your community. And also check the kind of content they share in their social media. Is it meaningful? Is it updates? What kind of communication is shared? Are they actually communicating with the people? I think that's very important to have a project that communicates, that tells where they are, what's happening, what has gone right, what has gone wrong. Very important to have a project, and the more transparent the project, the better it is for me, because the more real they are, the more worried they are about you investors, and the more accountable also they are. And this is something very, very important. Okay. Then you need to also look at the community of the project. Community is also very related to social media, but it's very important the interaction. When I say community, here is the interaction of the team with the community. Team members should be available to address the community, to talk to them, to clarify doubts. That's really, really important. Yes, they are busy, but they can always do a AMA from time to time. They can always, create a video explaining things to the team, to the people. And it's very important because after all, we are investors in their projects basically, or we're not investing, we're acquiring tokens, but it's very similar. Also very important that you know there is a space where people can ask questions, all kinds of questions, and where they are not just banned or blocked when they ask legitimate questions. Sure, they can be banned or blocked if they are just fighting the project, having bad behaviors, cursing everyone. Of course, that's legitimate. But if they are just asking a simple question, and a real question that has, that as just a tough question about the project, and if they're banned, that's really bad, because they don't. It means they don't want those kinds of questions, and they ban what they don't want to not mess with the environment in the community, not mess with the kind of vibe. They just want kind of app boys or people or yes men that just say yes to everything and they don't want to be questioned, and that's usually bad. Okay, guys. And also, like, if there are concerns about the project and they are just dismissed as FUD, it's not really good. It's good if they can say it's FUD, but besides that, they should provide answers, that actually refute the concerns, that explain things to token holders or NFT holders, whatever the project is, or people interested in the project. And of course, as I said before, and related to social media, is very important. They keep sharing updates. If they don't want to share for the generals, Twitter, or if they don't have a YouTube channel or something, they can just do it like in Discord, Tweet, or like Telegram, something like that, in a more private way, where only people that belong to the Discord can actually see those updates. But it's important to have actual updates and to know where the project is, instead of just going dark and coming with something from time to time. And then, of course, you can also check the news in the medias for the projects that sometimes is interesting. It's a good resource to learn more about the project, and to have it analyzed by other people as well, instead of you doing the entire research by yourself. So it's something good for your research, to complete your research. And yeah, we need to, of course, if the media is all sponsored, that's a red flag. It means they are just, the articles are just made because they are paying for them, so they are not really that valuable. And yeah, if the articles are not focused on what the team is doing, but just focus on token sales or speculation, that's also a red flag, because at the end of the day, what's important is they are building something that will last, and if they build, the success will come. If they build a solution that is useful and will last, the success will come and price appreciation will come. But if it's just for speculation, it's really very easy to, for example, if you have a token, you can just drive the hype on your project and then you just buy. You just sell and dump your tokens on the people after when the app is up there. So that's usually a red flag, guys. That's very usually a red flag. And yeah, also it's important to see that you have interviews with the founders, like video interviews, audio interviews, where people really can ask questions, like Twitter spaces and everything. Because yeah, I think it's very important to really see that the founders are there, they will talk to you, they will do everything, and they are not hiding at the end of the day. So yeah, I think that's another very important thing. And then we have, of course, news in media. Let me see. Okay. Then we have the partners. Okay, guys, partners are very important. Partnerships can really drive a project forward. So we want our project to be partnered with other projects. And partnerships also, in some way, when it partners with projects that you think are good and positive, it's kind of a, like, it says something. It says that they're actually looking for other projects to partner. It says they had a conversation and it seemed like it was a partnership that makes sense. So that's really nice. But of course, we need to check if in fact these partnerships are real or not, because sometimes they won't be. And so yeah, be careful with that. Check the partnerships. If they mention the layer 1 blockchain as a partner, that's also strange. Because it's just layer 1 blockchain, really. And even in terms of investments, check what are the companies that are investing in them. Are they reputable or not? Are they shady firms? Are they real firms? do they have a like an online presence or not, check if everything is real and not just a scam. And of course, right now, with what happened to 3 Hours Capital, you never know even if it's a real firm that has a reputation. Nothing is guaranteed, but it's good that you see that, but don't only stick there. It's good that they have investment. It's good that investors trust themselves, but I've seen investors throwing money at things that don't really make sense because they have a lot of money. So you need to be even more uh, demanding than an investor with the projects. You need to really check everything, check the team, check everything you can about the project, and then only then, if you're interested, just get some tokens or some NFTs, whatever you prefer. you know and of course, it's also important to see if the partner also has this partnership on their website, also legitimates, and if the partnership goes to the website, and understand what is the real effect of the partnerships, like what is the purpose of the partnerships. Does the partnership make sense, or is it just like a marketing partnership where both projects are just using the hype of each other to promote themselves, or are they actually building something? That's really important. If they are actually doing something together, that's the kind of partnership you want, because that the kind of partnership that will drive the project further. And it's also a partnership that shows that your team is focused, in a sense that they are only doing things and investing their time in things that will bring results. Because what is the purpose of doing all these kinds of partnerships without anything to show for, any project to work for together, any kind of goal? It's just something that is just the team is wasting their energy with these things that won't bring anything to the project, won't bring any development to the project, just marketing and speculation. So that's definitely not what we want. Okay. And of course, if it's a real partnership, it's important that there are announcements of these partnerships in both projects, social media, because yeah, it means the both projects are serious about this partnership, and partnership is also something positive that you should consider in your analysis, and that can drive this project further. Okay, guys. Besides that, development. Okay, this is a blockchain project, whatever project you're talking about. So necessarily they need to have developers. Okay, and it's important that they have developers on the team. For me, in my opinion, it's important that they have developers as founders of the team. Okay, because these developers will be one of the driving forces of the project. They will verify everything. They will do the heavy work. And even if they outsource part of the development of the protocol, if they have these developers will check, guide, and make sure everything makes sense for the goals of the project. Make sure the project is really building towards the vision they are claiming. Okay, guys, if they just completely outsource the development of the protocol, that's a red flag. Okay, guys, in the sense that first they outsource the code, but they don't know what they're getting because they can't read the code. They can't work with the developers of they have outsourced the project too, and really share, like say, oh, this is bad, this is an exploit, we want to correct this. They can get scammed, and most importantly, if there is some kind of problem with this company, they don't have any solution because they don't have developers. So it's not really a good sign, and it's not something stable for a project to outsource the entire development. If they have the development in house with good developers, that's fantastic. If they want to outsource part of the development, but they still have developers that will work with these outsourced developer teams, then it's usually better. Okay, guys. Also, very important, if the project is focused first on launching the token, then developing a product, that's a bad sign. Of course, not in every project, I would say, in the sense that, for example, in some blockchains like Cardano blockchain, it's very easy to launch a token. Okay, so they can really get that done fast, and can be good for governance and for even for some kind of funding for the team. Not funding, but I'll get sales because they are selling the token. So that would be very good for the team. But if they start like focusing on selling this token, and they're focusing on just gathering money as they can, and like getting decentralized exchanges, for example, trying to drive hype, trying to do everything to get the price to increase and dump these tokens on people, that's a red flag. Okay, guys, that's a big red flag. So careful with that, because the focus above all should be on the development, and nothing should remove the focus of the team from that. And at the end of the day, if you invest a lot in this kind of token launches, NFT launches, and everything, it is removing the focus. Okay, guys. On the other end, some projects are completely or mostly funded by these kind of initiatives, and that is very, it's normal and interesting. So I do think you have to adapt your kind of analysis to the context of the project, and also if they are showing the development while they are launching the tokens, I think that's acceptable, because they are really building something, they're getting extra fund and getting things out to actually build what they need. Okay, guys, but make sure that it does make sense, everything that's being done does make sense, there is progress, and the team seems trustworthy. Okay, guys. Then, of course, we also have more development red flags, like having no updates. Okay, that's really bad. You want to see updates, you want to see progress. If they can show you what is being built, that's awesome, and those are the projects you should stick with. If the project doesn't show anything, then that's a really bad sign, and it's something where you should consider running away for sure. And of course, if the project is open source, it's really good. It's good to see that the project is working, and that code is being created and added into the GitHub repo. So yeah, that's positive. If it's not open source, then it's good to see what are they actually building. And for example, if they are building a game, show us a bit of that game, show us a demo, show us something. I think that's really positive thing. Of course, if they're always missing the deadlines, always delaying things, always changing the roadmap, naturally that's very negative as well, because it means they are not being able to do what they planned for, do what they were saying, stating, and selling people. So that's something you should naturally run away from, because it might mean that at the end of the day they'll fail because they can get things done. And yeah, of course, like other things, if they are just doing things like staking and other stuff, like other simple things that are not focused on the main core of the project, and promoting is as something great, of course, that's naturally a red flag. And if they are keep on showing things that are read with bugs and problems, of course, that's also a really big red flags, because things should be internally tested and then launch on testnet. And if it's working fine there, then they should launch it on mainnet. Of course, it's normal to have some bugs on testnet. You could even have one or two bugs on mainnet, but it would be preferably that you don't. But having a lot of bugs constantly, that's a big problem. And then, of course, you need to see the tokenomics. The tokenomics are very important if the project has a token, because basically you'll be investing in the token. So if you are trying to get some kind of investment appreciation or token price appreciation, and if that's a goal for you, it's really important that you see what are the tokenomics of the project. Okay, because it will decide how much, it will define what is the kind of appreciation you should expect in terms of price. But not only, I think the tokenomics also tells a lot about the team, and tells a lot about what there's a team ambition with this project. Okay, guys. So if you have, for example, a project with no vesting periods or very short vesting periods for team or advisors, that's a red flag. Okay, they can just work for a while, then they have all the tokens, and from that moment onwards, they have everything. They can just dump the tokens and give up on the project, and basically just screw all the people that have invested in them, Also, if the project doesn't show proper information of tokenomics and vesting, that's also a red flag. I think it's important for projects to be transparent and to show when you should expect to have those vesting cliffs, and also show how the tokens will be divided. I think those are two very important things. And of course, having a large number of tokens being allotted to the team and the advisors is also very worrying, because at the end of the day, you're you're just trying to build a project and cash out on the people, and it's not great. It's good that the project has a long-term vision and has a lot of tokens to be deployed to the community, to be deployed during the mechanism of the project. And so the majority of the tokens should be for that. And of course, the team should have a considerable amount, but not a lot. Okay. And of course, having a lot of early investors, private sales, it's of course a red flag for you, in the sense that if you have a lot of early stage investors in private sales that have bought the token at a very cheap price, it's very likely they will, whenever the token is trading on major exchanges, that they will dump it on you and naturally take out profits. So of course that will negatively affect the price development of the token. Okay, guys, so something to consider. And then you also need to see other things like if they have a lot of token burnings, that's also usually not great. But of course it depends on the project. For example, centralized exchanges like Binance, for example, they do a lot of token burnings. That's part of their design, and it's not a red flag. That's how exchange tokens work, and it's a thing to ramp up the demand for exchange tokens. But other projects that are very focused on that on the early stage is not good, because the focus should be not on pumping the price, but it should be on developing value, on creating value, creating a product, and then the price will come later, of course. And naturally, having everything correct in terms of tokenomics, being fair and being real and honest with their numbers is super important. And of course, super important also is the dynamics of the tokens. So it's like we need to have demand and supply. That's how you define the price of a token, right, guys? So it's important that there is a reason for demand for the token. Usually there is supply. People who use the app or use the app or anything. For example, have a liquidity pool. If you have a DEX, you have a liquidity pool. People get into tokens on the liquidity pool as yield farming very well, and they gain those tokens, and there is the supply. But where is the demand? What is the thing that will get people to buy the token? If there is no demand, no reason to hold the token, then the token will just continuously drop, because there is no reason for people to hold it. So it's good to have a token that has a lot of demand, has a lot of things you could do for demand, and that really drive people to want to buy the token. For example, talking about the DEX example I was talking about, focusing on that example, you have, for example, as a demand, you have governance. That's something that everyone uses. People buy tokens for governance and to define how the platform will develop, what new features will develop. But you could have, for example, as well, trading fees, discounts if you have the token or a certain amount of the token. You could have, access to some kind of launch pads if you have a lot of the token. Access to some higher or special yield farm pools if you have a certain amount of the token, and those things will create a demand incentive for people to buy the token, and that will make the token more valuable, of course. And of course, that's really important for price appreciation. If there are demand reasons and the supply is not crazy, you also need to see what is the supply coming. That's why you need to see how much does the team have, the investors, when is the vesting schedule. All that affects the supply. Also, how much they are issuing of the token every month and every year. So all of that will affect the supply. And once you see the interactions, you can see where the price is going. And I think that's a very important analysis. And if there's too much supply, not enough demand, that's a red flag that you need to be careful with, because it's likely that the token will be worthless. And if the token will be worthless even for funding, it's not good. Okay, guys, even for funding, it's not good. Okay, so this was the video, guys. I hope it was an helpful one. Just don't forget that, even if you go, it's normal that some projects we'll have some of these red flags. Okay, a perfect project is not I don't know if it's possible to find a perfect project that doesn't tick any of these red flags, but of course, if you should analyze the project, have these red flags in mind, and if there are if the project really has these red flags, you should consider, you should consider how many red flags they have, how good of the things, how good thing, like how good are the other aspects, if they have a really great team, if they have a really great roadmap or not, if they are very transparent or not. You need to also consider how good are those aspects when you're investing. But of course, I think the goal at the end of the day is finding the projects with the least amount of red flags possible, and it's safer to invest in those, even great projects with everything in theory to succeed might fail, because blockchain is a very difficult industry. It's a very innovative industry, and it's part of entrepreneurship. In entrepreneurship, a lot of companies fails. 99% or 98%, I think, something like that, of the companies fail. So or the only 4% of the companies succeed. Yeah, that's it. So of course here will be the same, but the least red flags you have, the more is the chance that your project will succeed, and also the smaller is the chance that you're getting into a scam or a rug pull in the future. Okay, guys, so if you enjoyed this kind of video, please don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notification bell. If you could drop a like, I would be very glad, and I hope to see you in the next video.